Okay. How's everybody doing? This is Jay Hunter Lee. This is our Monday Motivational Power Talk. I want to thank y'all for joining this evening. Hope things are going well. Want to say hello to Lynn Martin. How are you? Thank you for stopping in. Thank you for stopping in. Getting ready to fire this thing up. Give you guys a minute, not a minute. That's too long. A few more seconds to stop in before we get started. Want to say hey to who we got up on Instagram is up there. We got Blue Raindrops. Thank you for stopping in, Blue Raindrops. Hope everything is going well. Getting ready to fire this up on our Monday Motivational Power Talk. I'm gonna cover something that I've covered not long ago, maybe about a month ago. So it's gonna be very, very important. A lot of people didn't catch that information as we talked about what's next after the pandemic. So I'm going to go into that a little bit. Let's get started, folks. If it's going to be, it's up to me to fulfill my dreams and possibilities with dedication and motivation to inspire thousands from all nations. When times are tough and break you down, just smile with toughness and rebuild from the ground. During tough times, adversity is a lot. Just remember, time flies, but you are the pilot. Good evening, folks. Thank you guys for stopping in. If you guys down here, I have Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube on the bottom here. If you see me looking up, I'm talking to my folks up here on Instagram. So you guys will see me going up and down on Instagram up here, Facebook, and everybody else is down here. So that's what you're going to see. I want to say hey to Jocelyn Price. What's up, cousin Buzzin'? Thank you for stopping through. Folks, what I want to talk to y'all about today is, what happens, what's next after the pandemic? And it will be an after the pandemic. Because first of all, we got to realize one thing. How you doing, Linda Marshall? Thank you for stopping through. There is going to be an after pandemic. It's all political, of course. I'm not going to get into that aspect of what we got going on with this pandemic because that's another Sunday. That's another sermon for another Sunday. So I'm not going to go into that deep end. But I will talk about what's going to be next for you. If you're an entrepreneur or if you're an employee. If you're an employee, I would highly recommend that you start thinking about being an entrepreneur right about now. And I'm going to share reasons. I'm going to share why you should be an entrepreneur. We got to realize that we are in a recession right now. There are a lot of people who have lost their jobs due to the COVID-19 lockdown. Jobs are starting to slowly open back up, and there are some jobs who are looking to allow a lot of their employees to work from home, depending on the type of job they have. And what's happening is, as jobs are doing these things, you got to realize that jobs have taken a lot of hits, right? They've taken a lot of hits due to the lockdown. Why? We're in a recession, okay? This pandemic has put us in a recession, so a lot of jobs are figuring out ways that strategically coming back out. Okay, meaning they're coming up with ways, they're thinking of ways, they're in board meetings, they're having all kinds of meetings so that they can get back in business and be operating their business in a capacity where they're going to rebound from a lot of financial loss due to the lockdowns. So with that being said, you have to understand one thing, folks. When you have a company, if you work for a company that have been hit by the COVID-19 lockdown. Prime example, there's an article that went out about a week ago, maybe a week and a half ago, where Starbucks is like shutting down, let's say 400 stores. This is Starbucks, and another 200 in Canada. Put God first up here on Instagram. Thank you. How you doing? I'm doing great. Stick around. So let's look at let's look at what's up, cousin. My cousin Hesh is up on Instagram. So let's look at the real thing here, folks. If you have a company, if you're working for a company, you guys been shut down, and then they tell you we're gonna slowly come back in the market, or what they're telling you is, in so many words, is you may not be working for that company. Okay. Sorry that you first had surgery. We'll talk about that offline. Okay, I don't want to talk about that in the open. Put God first. I don't. That's violating HIPAA. Okay. Okay, I understand. I understand. I'll reach out to you and see how you're doing if you can't stay. I understand. So so folks, here's what you have to realize here. As companies are starting to come back, then there are still states out there that are completely locked down. Companies have not gotten back into business yet. Okay. Then there are some states who have reopened, but certain companies have came out back out. And then there are some companies who just shut down all together. You know, I've seen a couple of them around here and down here in Florida, okay, that have not opened up back up. There's a company called a store called Earth Fairs. Their fresh produce store. They had I always go there for my alkaline water, and they had shut down. And I went there to get some alkaline water one day and looked in the window. I'm like, what? The whole place was gutted out. And when I say gutted out, I'm not just meaning everything moved from the shelf. The shelves was gone. So it's like a whole empty floor there. You can park like 20, 25 SUVs in this place. That's how empty it was. And I was so disappointed. So now I have to find another place where I can go get my alkaline water, like a fountain, alkaline water fountain, and get that filled up. So so this is what we're talking about, folks. So I'm getting ready to go into what you may need to do to prepare yourselves, because if you're an employee, there's a high probability that that company you work for is finding out ways to come out and do more with less, which means they're looking to cut costs. Okay, so you guys hold tight for a second. I'll be right back. So let's take a look at something. Let's take a look at what companies see on Wall Street. On Wall Street, what they see with companies. If you work for a company that has stock in Wall Street, you have to understand one thing. Every time a company lays people off, their stock Wall Street goes up. Okay, folks? Let me say that again. Every time a company lays someone off, their stock on Wall Street goes up. Good to see you, Donnell Floyd. That ain't Donnell Floyd. That's my cousin, Donnell Jackson. What's up, cousin? So listen, folks. Listen, folks. On Wall Street, they don't care what your bottom line, what you do to increase your bottom line. All they see on Wall Street is your bottom line in the stock market. This is what I'm saying when I mention Wall Street. All they see is a bottom line increase or decrease. And what does that mean? What does that mean? Whatever they need to do to increase their bottom line, their stock goes up on Wall Street. So if they have to lay off 50% of their employees when they come back out onto the market, when Dow Jones and all of them reopen, okay, and the stock is reopened, and they're looking at these companies again. You have people who have taken money out of these companies because some politicians knew that there was a pandemic coming. They took their money out of the stock market. How they knew this, I'm not going to go into that. But coming back into business, reopening the stock market and all this good stuff. So they're looking at companies who is going to increase their bottom line. They'll see what that company closed with. See, they'll look at your closing numbers, and they're going to look at your beginning numbers when they open back up. And if your beginning numbers is looking higher than your closing number, then they know you've made money. How have you made money? If you came back out in the market, you haven't sold anything, you haven't did anything to increase your revenue, but to get rid of your expenses. And part of those expenses is the employees that you laid off. So you got to realize this, folks. You have to be an entrepreneur. You're going to have to be a boss. You got to be your own CEO right now. And I highly recommend that you continue to be a boss or CEO. Why? It's because you're not going to fire yourself. Okay. You're not going to lay yourself off. All right. You're not going to have to worry about what time you need to get up and get into your own job. See, let's go back to our grade school. See, we were prepared for the rat race, prepared to live in a rat race. How does that happen? Look at your grade school. You went to school 8:45 to 9 o'clock in the morning. You took a lunch break between 12 and 1. After lunch break, you went right back into school for the second half of the day. And then you go home around 3 o'clock or 3:15, get up the next morning and do the exact same thing for 12 straight years of training. You've been scheduled, you've been programmed to do the exact same thing for 12 straight years. And when I was young and I asked my parents, why did I have to keep doing this every day? You know what they said to me? They said, because you're a minor and you do not have control over your own schedule. We have control. The school has control of your schedule. So when you become an adult, you can do what you want to do. But guess what? The school system was not training you to become a full-fledged adult. It was training you to follow the exact same schedule as an adult that you did as a minor, as a child in grade school. Most of you get up in the morning, between 7 and 9 in the morning, you go to work. You take a 30-minute to an hour lunch break. You go back to work. You go home. You do the same thing the next day, and the next day, and the next day, 5 days a week. And some people, they do it over the weekends as well. So it's the same schedule. So you're supposed to be grown, but you can't do what you want to do because you have to depend on a job that's keeping you in a rat race. You have a salary, which is a cap to your salary. They will always pay you what they want to pay you, not what you know that you're worth. So this is why a gentleman named Dr. Dennis Kimbrough said this perfectly. He said, when you become the best at what you do, the marketplace will seek you out. Okay? So that's the thing. You have to know your worth, ladies and gentlemen. Don't sit around and just depend on a paycheck for a job that may not even bring you back after this pandemic is over. You got to realize this. Once this pandemic is over, you're still going to be in another 18 months of a recession, at least. It's not going to just recover just because, it's not going to recover just because the pandemic is over. It doesn't work that way. They have to rebuild all over again. It have to be strategic plans in place to bring this economy back up again, right? So you have to realize that one strong case, folks. What are you going to do post-pandemic? Are you going to go back to business as usual? Are you going to go back and depend on a paycheck? Or are you going to create a paycheck? You know what I'm saying? Are you going to go back to being a job taker, or are you going to be a job maker? Okay, you got to understand these. I cover this information in my book, Change Your Mind, Change Your Life. Get it on Amazon or inbox me if you want a copy. I send you a link to it. Okay, so you have to. It's a mindset thing, folks. Change your mind, change your life. It's a mindset. So how are you carrying out your mindset right now? That's important. That's important. Are you complacent in where you are? Sitting in space that you've sat in for the past 5 to 10 years? And if so, have you ever thought that it got to be something different for yourself out there? It got to be more to what you're doing? Have you had that kind of thought? Have you had these conversations with yourself? That's the key element right there. Having a conversation with yourself, recognizing when it's time, or when you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, being poor, the middle class. You got to do something about it. Because as you can see right now, just being comfortable just doesn't work. There are a lot of people who was comfortable before this pandemic. There are a lot of people who were rich, and they're still rich during the pandemic. People get rich for reasons like this, because they know there's going to be days like this, right? That's one of the natural laws of the universe, called the natural law of polarity, or the natural law of transmutation. Those are natural laws, right? Or the natural law of rhythm. Natural law of rhythm fits this example perfectly. What is the natural law of rhythm? The tides come in and the tides go back out. As day come in, day goes back out. It comes night. As one leaves this earth, another is being born. That's the law of rhythm, ladies and gentlemen. That's a universal law. So if you're going to have, you think you're going to just have all good days No, you're going to have bad days. That's the law of rhythm. Everything, it works in the polarity, in the natural law of polarity. It has to go back and forth. That's what creates balance. That's what creates the universe. That's what creates motion in the universe, folks. You know, a gentleman, Robert Kiyosaki, said once, book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, is if you prepare for bad days, then yes, you will only know good days. But you have to know that bad days are coming. And we are in bad days right now. I'm talking on the business sense. I'm not talking about on the health side. I've been talking a lot on the health side any other day, but right now we're talking about business. We're talking about entrepreneurship. We're talking about what you need to do to pick yourself back up after the pandemic is over. That's important. Your kids is dependent on it. People in your family is dependent on it, even if you don't see it for yourself. Some people just say, well, I'm fine. Money ain't everything. Okay, money ain't everything to you. What about people that's in your generation coming after you? What about the people who's going to make an impact following you? Okay, you have to think about all these type of things, folks. Just don't think about yourself. See, that's selfishness, and don't be out here talking about, oh, well, money isn't everything. Okay, well, why don't you send your paychecks that your job pays you, send them to my house? I'll cash them. Send them to me. Money don't make you happy. And who said money was supposed to make you happy? Happiness comes from within. That has nothing to do with money. You can't take it all with you when you go. Well, you're not supposed to take it all with you when you go. It's not designed to take it all with you when you go. You know what else you can't take with you when you go? You can't take brokenness. You can't take poverty with you either. But guess what? Whatever you leave behind, you leave behind to people you love. So if you really love your family that much, then why would you leave behind a high-ass hospital bill? Why would you leave behind a high-ass funeral bill to your family if you love them so much? See, this is what people don't want to talk about, right? This is what they don't look at. They don't consider that. See, they use these little pop-out words. I call them pop-out words so they can just lay on their ass all day or just settle for less, right? This is what they do. Money don't grow on trees, but actually, idiot, money do grow on trees. Where do you think paper come from? You see what I'm saying, folks? You see the stuff that people say. You got to be careful of these sayings, these sayings, these words that people use, man. You got to be careful because the universe hears them. The universe says, your wish is my command. It says these things to you. What is it? Just money isn't everything. Well, but guess what? It does rank up there with oxygen. Okay. And we're going to see how important money is to those folks who don't think that money is everything, or money isn't important, or money isn't this. It doesn't make it. We're going to see how important it is once this pandemic is over. Actually, we're finding out how important it is right now. Why'd you file for unemployment if money isn't important? If money isn't all that, why'd you file for unemployment? Over millions of people have filed for unemployment. But you probably talk to those same amount of people, not amount, but the same people in that area would tell you, oh, money isn't all this. And, the love of money is the root of all evil. No. It's what you do with money. It's not the love of it. You can love money and not be evil. It's what you do with money. I know the Bible tells you these things, but you have to understand why the Bible say things. You have to better interpret what it's saying. People misinterpret the Bible and they thinking it in a way, and the preachers are preaching it in a way that's keeping you poor. Keeping you poor. But they driving Bentleys. Money's important to them, but they tell you that money's ain't important to you. You can believe that crap if you want to, folks. You got to understand you learn how to hear what people are not saying to you. Okay? Lynn just said, the Bible says money answers everything. I'm not a Bible expert. I know some quotes. And I do know that my work and a lot of quotes that I do throw out there, I do know that they're worded differently, but means the same. I do know that the Bible covers a lot of what I'm doing. People have said some Bible scriptures according to the work that they see me doing. And I say, wow. I say, all I'm doing is doing what God put me here to do. I'm just serving out my purpose. And that's important. Just serving out my purpose. That is exactly what we're all supposed to do, folks. Serve your purpose. We have two of the greatest days of our lives. This is from Winston Churchill. He said, we have two of the greatest days of our lives, the day we were born and the day we find out why. Fortunately, many people have not found out why they're here. Have not found out why they're here. And that's a shame. That's a doggone shame, folks. So within hindsight, I'm just sharing information with you that you need to start thinking about where you want to go in life, man. Where you want to go during the pandemic. During this pandemic, this is your time to start putting together your strategies. This is the time for you to start thinking about what you want to do with your life, what you want to do in business, what gifts did you have? Start figuring out, discovering your gifts. Okay, discover your gifts so that you can serve out your purpose, people. Because if you don't do it, you're going to be in the same place once this recession is over. Once the pandemic is over, you're going to go right back to where you were. You're going to be making the same amount of money, or you could be making less, depending on how your job feels about their bottom line. They might tell you we might have to make a pay cut if we keep, or they might just say we can't afford to keep you. You just got to be prepared for it. You got to put yourself. It's all about positioning yourself. Okay, you got to position yourself to be in a better place. That's not Joe Biden's job, not Donald Trump's job. It ain't your pastor's job. It ain't my job. It ain't nobody else's job but yours. Position yourself in a better place. Position yourself. I don't care what you got to do. You got to do exactly what you need to do. You know what you need to do. I don't know what you need to do, but you know what you need to do, people. And I hope this is helping you, what I'm saying with you tonight. This is our Monday Motivational Power Talk. We do this every Monday, not every other Monday. Every Monday we do this. We're here at 9:00 p.m. I want to thank you guys for joining. What time we have? We got a few more minutes left. So that's important, people. That's important. You got to look at where you want to be in life. Look at your own life. Look at your own life. Good to see you, Gail Ward. Thank you for stopping through. Thank you for stopping through. So you have to, it's all about positioning yourself, folks. A lot of people don't position themselves. They don't put themselves in the right position. They sit back and think that life is supposed to take care of them. No, it's not how that works. I'm going to tell you something. The masses think this way. This is why 10% of the population earns 90% of all the money. And 90% of the population is only earning 10% of the money. Now, which side do you want to be on? Do you want to be in the 10% or do you want to stay in the 90%? Because the 90% is fighting over the 10% of the money, while 10% of the population earns 90% of all the money. That means that 10% knows the money game. They know the laws of wealth, while the 90% all works for the 10%. But you have to decide, you have to make a decision. What side do you want to be on, the 90% or the 10%? If you want to be on the 90%, that's fine. But I'm going to tell you right now, the tax laws are not on your side. What is that? Recessions is not on your side. Depressions, all those are not on your side. You know who they give bailout money to? They give bailout money. They give bailout monies to the rich. See, y'all know that, right? They give bailout money to the rich, they give you a little stimulus check, like $1,200, like they did in April, gave you a little $1,200 stimulus check. But the rich get bailouts. They get bailouts. So you got to realize that, folks. You got to understand. Diane Rosich said she wants to be in the 10%. Excellent. Excellent. We all should want to be in the 10%. Because 10% earns 90% of the money. You don't want to be in the 90% of the population fighting over 10%. That's the rat race, man. That's the rat race. And many people don't even know if they're going to have a job when they go get up the next morning. They don't even know if they're going to have a job the next morning. You gotta, that's right. That's right. Work harder on yourself, as Jim Rohn said. Work harder on yourself than you do on your job. Work harder on yourself than you do on your business. So you work hard on your business, folks, but you got to work hard on yourself first. Why is that? Because you got to raise your self value. When you raise your self value, your net value, your net worth go up. You can't raise your net worth without first raising your self worth. I'm gonna say that again. You can't raise your net worth without first raising raising your self worth. You got to raise your self worth, and your net worth will follow. See, people won't have to ask you. You don't have to ask people how much a job pays or how much this work pays. They will always ask, how much are we supposed to pay you? That's when you know that you have put a dent in the universe. When people start asking, how much should we pay you? How much do we pay? How much do you charge? That's what you ask them. I mean, that's what they're supposed to ask you. You don't ask them, well, how much are y'all paying? That means you don't know your worth. Hope this makes sense, folks. Hope this makes sense, folks. I want to go ahead and chime out. I hope this has been helpful to you guys. If this has been helpful, please to put that in the comments and say thank you. It's been helpful, and share the video if you will. Hope this has been helpful to you guys. I hope we're making a difference here. We need to make a difference. We need money, folks. We need you guys to make money. We need you guys to make money. We don't need broke people out here, man. Well, it ain't nothing wrong with being broke. Broke is temporary, but poor is eternal. We don't need people out here poor. Okay, so this is it, folks. This is our Monday Motivational Power Talk. Thank you very much, Gail. I appreciate it. Thank you very much, Diane Rosier. I appreciate it. Thank you guys for stopping through. You guys always come through. You all guys are always sharing. Really much appreciate you guys stopping through. So with that being said, I need you guys to do me one bigger favor, and that is to sing like no one can hear you, dance like no one can see you, love like you've never been hurt, and live like it's heaven on earth. I'm Jay Hunter Lee. I love you, and the world needs you. So peace and blessings, folks. Have a great day.